Dumbest decisions made by characters on The Sopranos. Also, this is in no order. Jimmy Alteiri was one of the capos in the first season, and honestly, he was probably the most obvious informant out of them all. After being in jail for a hot minute, you and Tony go to the basement to talk in private, which is wired up by. You start bringing up old fucking crimes. At that point, you might as well just show everybody The Wire.
I just want you to know, I always thought you had that right too, you know?
Jimmy, let me tell you something.
Crazy part is, with all of this information and moments where Jimmy is acting weird, this wasn't even the reason why he got whacked. It was only because Tony assumed that Makazian's guy got everything wrong, but in reality, Puss and Jimmy were rats. Just, he didn't have that much information on Pussy compared to Jimmy. Artie Bucco has had so many dumbass moments on the show, it's never just one. For one, every hostess he hires, he ends up falling in love with them. First one was Adriana. Adriana stopped working with him, and I think that's when she got the club around that time. He was in shambles. My man's was drinking. Another reoccurring thing you're going to notice is that Tony is basically his savior in a lot of these situations. Then the next one, he really got finessed out of 50 G's that he didn't have by a French baddie and her brother. Mind you, his wife worked there too. She talking about some, oh, I'm full for eating all your gnocchi, I'm going to get a big belly. Like, come on now, that's crazy. She was the distraction to get on Philippe. Man, this scene was so funny to me, oh my god. And the smartest person in this whole situation was Ralph, because Ralph knew if he gave Artie the 50 G's and he couldn't pay him back, Ralph couldn't do nothing to him because of his relationship with Tony. And when Artie went to go try to get the money back from John Philip, yo, he's in the mirror practicing. But him and that fucking earring.
You ripped my fucking ear!
You call me.
Oh. I forgot. I want my...
His attempt to get the money back failed. Artie tries to off himself because he knew he couldn't face Tony after that. It was a sad scene. And then the last one, Martina. She was probably the worst one of them all. He's distracted by his attraction to her. She's out here flirting with Benny and stealing credit cards from customers the whole time. Personally, I really thought Benny was gonna die. He fucked him up bad.
You want some more?
This can't be Benny Fabio the Mastermind, no way. Honestly, I wish Artie realized that he had it all. He was married to one of the baddest female characters on the show. Artie's a talented chef with his own restaurant. Despite how he probably feels about his own life, it turned out pretty good. There are mobsters that would kill for this. I can't lie, there was times where Charmaine was definitely aggy, but for the most part, she really looked out for Artie, because there's no way that you letting all these mobsters run a $6,000 bill. That's crazy. You literally be feeding all of New Jersey, and none of these guys pay. None of these guys pay. Now we have Mathew Bevilaqua and Sean Gismonte when being eager and impatient goes wrong. These two, and the last one I'm going to talk about, are the reason why I think Christopher isn't the dumbest character on the show. Shit, I throw Polly in. And honestly, they could have been decent, but they overdid it, and they became an aggravation in a lot of ways. Especially to Tony.
Hey, this is what I'm talking about, motherfucker. Am I supposed to be sitting here, you fucking...
They know Furio was there to collect money. Pretend they don't know why he's there. Don't have the money ready, and then on top of that, there's so much stolen shit in the back. They are literally getting high while Furio was outside, knocking at the door. Dumbest shit they have ever done that led to their demise was thinking by whacking Christopher, they were going to move up. They've been associates for maybe less than a year at this point in the show. Not only that, Sean still had a seatbelt on, and instead of laying low or disappearing, like leaving the state of New Jersey in general, he goes to Richie's, tells him what happened and who did it, and said they did it for him because he was hitting Adriana, which is like crazy because for one, Richie is beefing with Tony. He's only a captain and he has no room to talk. He's beating up the boss's dog. Try to get rid of a made man who's also the boss's nephew. What did you think was gonna happen?
The last fucking drink you're ever gonna have.
And the last one I'm going to talk about is Jackie Aprile Jr., the Nepo mobster. I kind of feel bad for him, I'm not going to lie. In a matter of 2 years, your father passes from stomach cancer, and your uncle gets clipped. Not saying Richie was much of a fucking role model or anything, but still. He doesn't really have anybody but his mom and his sister at this point. And out of nowhere decides he wants to be a part of a life he knows little to nothing about. He's moving very fucking delusional. Like, he had a whole sit down. Like he was Michael Corleone. So one of his boys could sell drugs at Adriana's club after being kicked out and told no. But for the most part, all that dumb shit was excused until Ralph decides. He tells Jackie Jr. about the time his father and Tony robbed Feach LaMotta's card game. But the problem with this is, Ralph left a couple of things out. Tony's father and uncle were made men, and I think they were also captains at the time this happened. So was Richie, Jackie Sr.'s older brother. And nobody was high.
Let's do it before the crank wears off.
They went in guns blazing, scared, high, and shaking and shit. And if they had just robbed the card game and left, that's one thing. But once y'all start shooting shit up, y'all done scared y'all fucking getaway driver, which is crazy, by the way. He got up out of there. Christopher recognized Jackie's voice. And the biggest thing they fucked up on was, for one, they shot Sunshine and they shot Furio, who's a made guy. Jackie was done for. Ralph had one decision: keep him alive or don't.